Alrighty, so I'm gonna hop down here. uh, Animal homelessness is just as important to me as human homelessness. I would start creating partnerships by making sure that we can get housing for our pets, no different than we get housing for when we are housing people or children in foster care situations. I think that that is very important that our fur babies have somewhere to live and have somewhere to call home because they did not ask for the situation that they were put in. Money needs to be raised in these situations, and so it's very, very important that we pay close attention to what happens to our fur animals when they're being in rehoming situations as far as the shelters are concerned. Because just 2018, or maybe even 2016, our five largest shelters took in almost 80,000 pets. So we definitely have a situation where we do need help, and we do need to make the community more aware.
Thank you so very much. First and foremost, we all have to recognize that there is a problem. And then we need to create a database or something to help us to gather all the people together who have an interest in animals. And it should be everybody, but certainly we know that that's not the case. But certainly awareness is one of the biggest things that we need to let people know, first of all, that it is a problem. The Harris County Animal Control, they have just an overabundance of homeless pets. And my personal experience, I have actually picked up animals myself, and I've taken them home because I certainly cannot stand to see a pet out on the streets because I know that what their fate will be. And so certainly we're going to have to create a database. We're certainly going to have to create a newsletter or something to go around to the communities to let them know, because some people certainly don't know, and I think a lot of people have a innate desire to help, but they don't know what to do or where to go. So my first step would be certainly to create a database so that everyone will know that there is a place that you can go to perhaps engage, and that would be my first order of business. Thank you.
Sure. So just like I mentioned before, we need those foster care parents. What I would like to see happen with the City of Houston's budget, and I am studying to see where we're actually allocating that money from, because we do need more resources, to see if we can get our taxpayers to actually become pet owners or to, foster parents for more pets so that they can have somewhere to live, and then see if we can get some type of tax abatement to those taxpayers. Otherwise, the taxpayers are going to keep eating up the cost, and then great companies like PetSet won't be able to have the funding that they need to continue to support and advocate for our pets, because they do need those services. So especially in District D, because we do have that problem, we also have a big problem with companion pet ownership, where we have our homelessness or our homeless people. Unfortunately, they have pets, and it's just unfortunate that they do, and they need an outlet, they need that resource. So I would like to see more people open up their homes for rehoming as shelters for our pets.
Actually, I take my animals to Emancipet, and I think that needs to be expanded so that others will know that they can do the same at a low cost. We certainly need to start the programs where they have the mobile units, because they used to have them, and I'm certain that those were effective. I personally engaged in some veterinary services that they had them at Walgreens and different places. And so when they do those kinds of activities and let everybody know, then a lot of times people will take advantage of those opportunities. But we certainly have to get the word out there and provide those services throughout the city so that others will know that there is an opportunity, because some people feel as if you get a pet and then you don't do those things that are necessary, which is very unfortunate, because our pets tend to get ill just like we do. And so, of course, when you look at the grand scheme of things, people look at doing other things before they actually take care of their pets. And my feeling is that if you're not going to take care of your pet, then you should not have a pet. And so the low-cost opportunities are certainly those things that need to be expanded so that the community will know that there is an opportunity to take care of your pets. Thank you.
Raising more money. I do have a platform. I am a veteran. We have a lot of veterans that are out there, and we love animals. I have 2 fur babies right now, and they were adopted, and I would like to adopt more fur babies. I was actually a foster mom to canine animals, and it was an awesome experience for me. I would like to get more of my community as well as you all involved in becoming foster parents. Whatever it is that I can do personally, I would love to do it. But raising money, we have to do it. I love what PetSet has done. They raise millions of dollars. This is a multi-million-dollar industry that can go without cost. Like it has to be alleviated. Two awesome people, I love you ladies, are doing a fantastic job. They can't be the only ones. So whatever it is that I can do with veteran services, with our college students, with our millennials, just getting out there to raise that money to make sure that people are aware and that we can get the services that we need for those pets, because we need it. It's just attention, we need it.
I think we need to extend the hours of some of the shelters. And even more importantly, some people find dogs that are considered to be a breed that's vicious, and they aren't necessarily that way. Of course, some people have trained them to be that way. And so a lot of people don't know about the no-kill facilities. And a lot of times they won't pick up a pet because they say, well, if I take him into the city, they're going to euthanize them. And so I think that if we let people know that the fate of an animal is not always to be euthanized, and that there are opportunities for this pet to not only get great health care, but also to perhaps be placed in a home, then people will be more amenable to doing things to rescue a pet. And so certainly those would be 2 of the initiatives that I would do to try to get and of course, knowledge is power. You have to let people know that these things exist, because a lot of people do not know, and then the animal is left to die, essentially, on the street. And so we need to let everybody know that these exist. Thank you.
I would start by raising the mandatory minimum for crimes against animals. Just like we do with our children, if you see something, say something. That shouldn't just apply to humans in abuse, that should apply to pets as well. So if you see something, say something. We have to report these issues. I believe a study that was done by Rice University through Houston PetSet, that 3,000 cases for animal abuse was reported. 3,000 cases were challenged. And I know if we live in a city with 2.4 million people in it, that there's more, that there is dog fighting, and we have to stop it. We should not be fighting. If I can't fight y'all, other than with this mic, then we shouldn't have our animals fighting each other and just inhumane things. I mean, that is just sick. Who would do that? I have Boss is a Boston Terrier. Kong is a pit bull Stafford. If they ever had a fight, it's just going to be like me being mama, getting in between them two. Y'all better stop that, because we're not having it. So please stop it. Just no violence at all. Yes, but mandatory minimums for abuse, for sure.
Certainly, I would like a program where everybody has a cell phone. And I think it should be a program where people could take pictures of animal abuse and they could send them in. And then there needs to be a fund that will reward them, because a lot of times people won't get engaged. But one of the key things that really, really bothers me is we need an ordinance so that people can't tie their dogs to a tree. That's one of the first things I would like to see, because I, again, think that if you're going to tie a dog to a tree, for him to get no exercise, sometimes he gets tangled, he can't get water, he can't get food, then why do you have a pet. And so I'm going to be really, that's going to hit the ground running for me if I could get an ordinance that will be enforced to stop people from tying their pets to a tree. That is a good start, I believe. And there are certainly other things that are near and dear to my heart, but that's one of them that really sticks out. Thank you.
Well, I would, one, like I said before in my previous statement, raise their money. I would at least do the research, and I have been working on some in between the many things that I have to do, but finding that grant money that BARC needs so that they can continue to run their stable program and make it stable. BARC took in, well, they didn't just take in, they take in at about 30,000 animals a year, whether they're sick or whether they have behavior issues. And that deserves a standing ovation. We don't get to see the improvements that BARC has done anyways. So I would definitely like to work with you guys to get that grant money to make sure that you have what it is that you have, and so that the animals, our fur babies, can have those needs to be assessed and things like that, because my God, y'all doing amazing work. I mean, but as your city council member, I would definitely raise that money, get that grant money, and see if we can get those tax abatements for those family members who would like to rehome pets, more than 2 or 3 pets.
Yes. I would establish a citizen review board where citizens and groups such as yourselves can go out into these facilities. Perhaps they don't need to know when you're coming. As a former teacher, we already knew when we were going to have what we call our dog and pony show. But how do you behave differently when you're not certain when someone is coming to look? So I think a citizen review of what's going on at BARC would be very effective, because first of all, you're going to put people on that particular board who are committee or council that are really lovers of pets. And then you're going to have other people, such as veterinarians and whoever, who can go out and look to see if the conditions for pets are appropriate and certainly within regulation, but hopefully even better than that, because they deserve to have a clean and safe environment. So I think that the human eye is what is needed to actually let us stay on top of what's going on. Thank you.
Okay. We have got to up the ante on our spay and neuter programs. Cloverland just had a spay and neuter program by Houston BARC. Thank you guys so much for going out there to District D. I impressed upon the community to please go out there and use the services. But I believe that the community has been misrepresented in what they believe a pet is to them. For some people, just having a pet is, okay, here's my pet, and then they have a name. When you have to bring things like your light bill or have a driver's license, which some people may not have, it's difficult for them to even get those services. Then you have an issue with microchipping. I believe microchipping should be mandatory. Both my dogs, I was going to say all my dogs, but I have children, so hold on. Both of my dogs are microchipped, and I definitely am grateful for that, because like the event of Hurricane Harvey, we had 800 dogs that went missing during Hurricane Harvey, and then we had about 80 of them to be returned home through microchipping. That is amazing progress, but we have to have it. Microchipping and more spay and neuter programs, very cost-effective spay and neuter programs.
Thank you. My dogs are microchipped as well. I can't imagine them not being them being somewhere and they can't make a phone call. And so so I'm certainly in favor of that. I believe that those spay and neuter mobile clinics were very effective. But here again, we have to let people know that they're there. And I think that we're going to have to crack down on people that do this. And the amazing thing is some people market their pets through social media, and nobody does anything. And so certainly we're going to have to crack down on that as well, because see what happens when you have these stray animals, they end up in the trash or on abandoned roads and such, because they're cute when they're little itty bitty, but as they grow up, they become much more expensive. And so we're going to have to crack down on people with fines, unfortunately, when we find that they're doing that. And so, I mean, that they're not taking care of their pets and that they're breeding animals. Because some people do it they are really breeders. They're not people whose pet accidentally was impregnated. And so certainly we're going to have to crack down on that, and it's going to take a city ordinance and enforcement, not just on paper, something that actually has to be implemented and done. Thank you.
Well, I can tell you right now, just sitting down, got to get up for that. We don't have that many. Maybe one, and it'll probably be more than likely downtown. Unless Houston BART comes to my Cloverland, my Sunnyside, my South Park areas, they don't get those services, you guys. And that's where I have the highest calls at, over there in that area. What was the rest of that question? Because I know we get a lot of calls.
With low cost, I mean, I think it kind of answers itself, doesn't it? With
Right.
low cost, veterinary care and spay and neuter facilities make a difference.
Right. It would definitely make a difference. And like I said, all of my service people, they're in Midtown in the museum district, which the African American community barely travels to. And that's just a reality that we have to deal with. But we don't have those services, and we do need those services.
Just like Dr. Hamilton, I don't know of any. That's why it's very, very important that organizations such as Emancipet and mobile units and the program that they had at Walgreens, where people could bring their pet out on a Saturday or a Sunday, those are vitally important in District D. The Emancipet that I go to is on Wayside, which is not District D. And I believe that they just established it there. And so it needs to go all over the city, but particularly, because I'm a District D person, I certainly would like to see them expanded and utilize several. You can't just expect one organization to just do it all. But Emancipet, along with the mobile units, along with the veterinarians that donate their services to come out and serve our communities, would be the ideal situation. Thank you.
Sure. I would like to thank the co-presidents for inviting me, Mark, everybody for listening to me. I am definitely honored to be here, and I would love to collaborate with each and every one of you after this so that we can come up with some healthy, helpful ideas to combat this issue that we have. I am in District D, and as you heard, we do not have those services, those veterinary services, or those mobile services that come in and out and things like that. We need them more often. We need to be able to create more traction. And we do have an awesome company that is raising money. I mean, I believe the ladies raised almost $3 million alone for Houston PetSet, and that is wonderful. I mean, I can't top raising $3 million, but it is a concern. And I am charged with making sure that our seniors feel safe riding in their mobile scooters down the sidewalk, that our children feel safe walking back and forth to school, that our moms feel safe getting in and out of their vehicles because of the risk of dogs that are not healthy to the community or have just gone untreated, or fur baby parents who have just given up on their fur babies instead of taking them to the appropriate people and writing it and giving that information to the appropriate authorities is what I'm trying to say, so that they can make sure they're not becoming an abusive pet owner, which is it should be considered a very serious and heinous crime. And I do not believe in putting your dog against a tree or tying them up by a tree by any type of rope. Let's get that done. I don't even have trees in my yard, and I have a pretty big house. So so nobody's hanging on any trees or tugged or anything, any type of chain or anything. I mean, that's just so, I just couldn't even handle it. But you guys, thank you so much for listening to me. This organization is amazing, and I would love to serve you at any capacity that I can. Thank you.
I actually grew up with a veterinarian. My grandfather was the first African-American veterinarian in the state of Texas. So I've always been a lover of animals, period. And I'm the one that, I don't even like to kill an insect. I will, but I certainly don't if I have to. But certainly I have always been involved in trying to help animals. And it kind of fell into all of my whole family. We're all lovers of animals. My sister, I think she's the pet whisperer, because she, talks to her animals all the time, and certainly we all do, but I think she thinks that they answer her. But at any rate, I'm certainly very, very aware of some of the things that go on, especially in my neighborhood. I walk, and unfortunately, I have to carry a stick, I have to carry mace. I may need to do it for human beings as well, but I certainly don't want to be approached by an animal. And people are very, very lax about that. They allow their animals to run out and run after you, and you're out there screaming, trying to jump on the top of a car. Please, please get your animal. But they really don't realize the danger. Not only do they put pedestrians in, that they put their animals in, because everybody is not an animal lover, and sometimes people will cruelly go out to do things to animals. I remember times when people would go and the dog would run after them, and they'd open the car door just to let the dog run into the car. So I've seen all of these types of things, and I know that as a responsible pet owner myself, I would be very, very passionate about anything that helps our animals. And so I certainly appreciate this opportunity. When I got the invitation to do this, I said, oh, this is easy, because this is really, really something that I feel very, very strongly about. And I thank you so very, very much. And it's good to know that Dr. Hamilton is such a lover of pets herself, because you never know, whoever ends up wherever, we can engage and perhaps be able to further the benefits to our animals. And I thank you so very much.